name is Melissa Fry, indie author, book editor, and author educator at indieauthorlearning.com. Today we are going to talk about how to edit your book. So we're going to talk through the steps of how you actually edit your book so that you can get a good grasp on what to do once you finish the first draft all the way up to getting it ready to send to an editor or getting it published. All right, let's get started. The first step to editing your book is getting your first draft done. Yes, so sometimes when I'm working through my first draft, I actually will do a little bit of editing. Now this is not anything complicated, but it is, just kind of filling in those words that you might have missed, just briefly reading over what you just wrote to one, get yourself familiar with the story again, and two, just catch the things that maybe you would forget about, a month or so from now when you actually go to edit your book. Number two, and this isn't necessarily the next step, it's more of like something you need to remember throughout the whole process, is to work on your editing mindset. Mindset is so important. If you don't have the right mindset about something, you are going to get dragged down, you are not going to be able to finish in the time frame that you would like, and it's going to feel like a drudgery. So for example, if you are really struggling with getting yourself editing done, if you have tried, if you said, okay, I'm going to get this done by the end of March, by the end of July, whatever your deadline is, and it passes and you're still not done, and maybe you even haven't made any progress, you might consider that you have a mindset issue. Maybe you are convinced that the editing process is hard and long and boring and complicated. If you are convinced those things are true, then you are not going to want to edit your book. So work on those things. If you need to, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, put a plan together, figure out what you need to do to get through it, but work on that mindset. And number three, as promised, is what we just talked about. Create a self-editing plan. Now this is as simple as saying, I'm going to work from 8 to 9 every morning until it's done. That could be your self-editing plan. If that works for you, fine. For me, I need something a little more detailed. So I actually created a list of all the different drafts that I need, and within those drafts, certain things that I'm looking for. Now, I'm not going to go into what all those drafts are. I'll mention something at the end that will help you through that. But basically, you identify the process, the step-by-step things you need to look for as you're editing, and then put a plan into place so that you can figure out what you need to accomplish next when you go to your next editing session. And then you will also know if you've actually accomplished everything you want to, if you've looked at everything that you want to look at, and if you've corrected those mistakes that you wanted to make sure were corrected. Number four, make sure you schedule your time. Now we talked about this a little bit, but make sure that you're scheduling in time for you to actually do the work. If you have a plan in place, but you don't have a plan to work the plan, you're not actually going to do it. So you need to have a time where you're going to sit down and say, okay, I've scheduled this time, I've blocked out this time just for editing. I'm going to work on editing. Yes, it is very easy to get distracted by things like Instagram or Facebook, or the fact that the kids are in the other room and need to have dinner made, or a TV show that you want, or a Netflix binge. Whatever it is, it's easy to get distracted, but do your best to set aside the time and really focus and get the things done that you need to get done. If your book and your writing is something that you believe in and that you really feel compelled to do, you need to make it a priority. So this is my reminder to you to make time for the things that are important to you. Make sure all the things that you need to do to get done, and don't neglect anything, but make sure that you set aside time for the editing process. Number five is simply work the plan. So you put a plan into place, you've set a schedule for when you're going to do it, and now you just have to work the plan. Like I said, and I mentioned just a little bit ago, you don't want to get distracted. There are a lot of things that can distract you. You can leave your phone in the other room so you're not tempted to get on social media. Whatever it is that helps you stay focused. For me, sometimes it's putting music on that helps me get in the mindset of my book. And sometimes it's just sheer willpower saying, no, I'm not going to pick up my phone. I am not going to answer. I am not going to check social media, and I am going to work on this until I get done. I've seen a lot of authors, they use sprints for this, and this can be a great tool if it's something that's helpful for you. So you'll just set aside an amount of time. You can start with 15 minutes and just say, okay, at 1:15, I am going to edit and do nothing else until 1:30. Set a timer, set a stopwatch to go off in 15 minutes, and just sprint. And this works, a lot of people use this for writing the first draft, but this can work for editing too. So make sure that you are eliminating as many distractions as you can and really focusing so that you can get your work done and make the most of the time you have set aside to edit your book. And number 6, celebrate when it's done. If you have a plan in place and you've scheduled your time and you are eliminating distractions, maybe doing editing sprints or whatever it is that helps you get motivated and excited to get going, then you can celebrate when you've actually gotten your book edited and done. And then you can move on to the next step. For a lot of authors, that's finding an editor that will fill in the gaps of what you need. And while every book can benefit from an editor, I do understand that some authors just cannot afford an editor on their book. So if that is you, you are going to want to be even more careful in the self-editing process, because that's the only time you're going to get some editing done on your book. So if you are not hiring an editor, you would start looking into the publishing process, getting your book formatted in the interior, getting the cover done, and then going through the publishing process and getting that published. So I hope those tips were helpful. I hope that was just kind of a good way to get you thinking about the process of self-editing, working on your mindset, and hopefully I've given you a couple of tools to help you get through those humps, because editing can feel very overwhelming and very stressful, but it doesn't have to be. It can actually be fun. If you just have a plan, if you work the plan, and you commit to doing it yourself, you'll get your book done in no time. So if you want to learn more about the self-editing process, I have developed an author's guide to self-editing. It's a free ebook. I've linked to that below in the description. Basically, it talks about what self-editing is, how it can help you, why you really need to do it, and then it talks about some mistakes that other authors make while they're self-editing so you can learn to avoid those. Again, the link's below, so feel free to download that now. And if you'd like more information about the different drafts that I use when I go through my own self-editing, I've created a self-editing ebook. It's part of the self-editing ebook bundle on my website, indieauthorlearning.com, and it is a bundle that will help you walk through those drafts, create your own custom self-editing plan, because everyone's self-editing is going to be different, and sometimes even between books it will be different. So your process is going to evolve and change over time. So I designed the book to walk you through the different possible drafts, and then you get to decide what ones work for you and what ones you probably don't need to spend a lot of time on. So I designed the ebook bundle with the ebook itself, a checklist to go with the book so that it keeps you on track while you're working through it, and then a story Bible template, which is a massive spreadsheet with all different kinds of things to track everything you would need to know in your book, timeline and the characters and their story arcs and things like that, a lot of different things. And also a way to schedule your time and track how much progress you're making so that you can have accountability and you can get excited by seeing that you're actually making progress. If you would like to get started with the self-editing ebook bundle, I've also put that below in the description. Okay, that's all I have. I hope you learned a lot about how to edit your book and it gets you excited about wanting to edit your book. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up below to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to ring that bell to get notifications every time a new video is posted. We'll talk more about the different types of editing next week, so stay tuned for that. My name is Melissa Fry, author, editor, and author educator at indieauthorlearning.com. I'll see you soon. Bye.